Call this special meeting to order, the City Commission for Rio Grande City. It is Wednesday, September the 5th, 2018, approximately 6:04 p.m. here in Commission Chambers, City Hall, 5332 East US Highway 83, Suite A, here in Rio Grande City, Texas. At this time, we'll have the invocation by Commissioner Garza, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Jones.
Marriott. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to get together to conduct city business. We ask that you guide us to make decisions. We ask you, Lord, that you continue blessing this great city. We thank you, Lord, for the rains that we've gotten today. We ask that you keep on bringing them. We ask you, Lord, that you bless our armed forces in harm's way, and we ask that you bless our police officers. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Republic flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
This time we'll have item 1B, roll call and finding of quorum. Ms. Peña?
Mayor Villarreal.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Garza.
Here.
Commissioner Flores.
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you. This time we'll have item 2A, public hearing to solicit input from the public regarding the City of Rio Grande City proposed budget for fiscal year 2018-2019. Is open at this time for the public input. Do we have anyone
No,
to
Mayor.
speak
Unless-
regarding the proposed budget for fiscal year 2018-2019? No? For the record, we don't have anyone signed up or anyone up for input regarding the budget for fiscal year 2018-2019. This time we'll have the end of public hearing, 6:06 p.m. Moving on to next item, our next business and orders, item 3, City Manager's Report. Letter A, first reading and approval of ordinance number 2018-6, City of Rio Grande City Municipal Budget for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is what is proposed for the fiscal year 2018-2019. It takes into consideration what's necessary to run the city. As you know, we continue to provide services to our residents. Demands continue to increase, but this is what's necessary to run the city based on what's available.
So how do we look, Mr. Perez?
Well, it's a balanced budget, so we're not looking at going into the red. That's good news.
That is definite good news, sir. It is a balanced budget, and we're moving forward with this. Any other highlights from the budget?
While challenging, it's doable. As you know, most recently, the health insurance process, called for going out for bids. There's been additional savings. Probably Ms. Bess can elaborate on the most recent outcome of her visits with our new insurer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Perez. Mayor and Commissioners, if you all remember the last presentation that Mr. Schimel came by, presented on Blue Cross, and he said there could possibly be some more savings. We did see it right before we started open enrollment this afternoon. An additional $6 were reduced on the health insurance. We even saw savings on the dependent costs to make it more affordable, and I know that was a concern to you, Commissioner Ramirez.
Yes.
And also across the board on the other voluntary products, the dentals, all across there was a savings for the employees. And this afternoon we had the fire department, the police, and the library, public works, all present at the Kelsey Bass and the There was no negative remarks. They all welcome. They appreciate the fact that the city is one of some of the few employers that still pay 100% for the city's, for the employees' coverage. So everything went well, and I'm glad to say that we got an additional savings from what we were presented.
And as part of the normal process, each director's been asked, as we go out this new year and consider doing business with the folks we've been doing business, we are asking for a break on pricing, especially someone we're going back to. And just to give you an example, most recently just on tires alone, we're looking at, for the sanitation department, we're looking at a $50 to $70 per tire savings. And actually, we've gone local, which adds value to the city itself. So every step of the way, we're trying to, not cut corners, but make sure we maximize those tax dollars.
And continuing on that note, that if we can move in that direction to make sure that all the departments, if there's any purchases, to consider local first, of course, and
Yes.
see what the savings would be in moving forward. After all, we do have, of course, the Shop Rio First, which
Correct.
I know that sometimes is not feasible, but if it can and when it can, we should move forward in that direction. Now, added to that, I know that balancing a budget, especially as the city continues to grow and services need to expand, I know that it's hard sometimes to balance it, but certainly taking the initiative from all the departments and all personnel to make that happen, and continuing the needs of the city, again, moving forward and continuing to grow, and I don't see it stopping.
Well, and we're
Which is
gonna.
good in a way, but at the same time challenging for you all that have to make the monies work or stretch our dollars. And we seem to be doing that quite well, so, and thank you for making that possible to all the department heads and all staff in general. Can't say enough about continuing to go in that direction, and moving forward.
And if I may add, we will be looking at different technologies throughout the year for different reasons, but most importantly, to improve customer service, number one, and number two, the efficiency of our employees, to make sure that we continue to address if there's areas that we could be doing better. I don't want to call it wasteful, but at the end, that's what it ends up being, that we could be doing things better and more efficiently with the staff that we have.
Well, and that's a good attitude to have, in the sense that we all of us at some point can do things and evaluate every department and see where it is that we can be more efficient or do things differently in a way to, as far as cost savings, efficiency. And that's something that is good for all departments at any level and for any agency for that matter. And it's something to admire, and for us to continue to do that as a city. Continue on that track, of course. And again, not for any other purpose, but to be more effective and efficient in moving our city forward at all levels, including us as a commission, what it is that we can do better as well. And that's something that we'll need you all's input as well, what it is that we can do and evaluate our own selves as to how we can accommodate that too. So feel free to comment, not necessarily right now, but in the future,
We will let you know.
definitely let us know. But again, that way we all can be on the same page as to what direction we're moving forward. Anything else on the budget? Any other main items or anything that we need to? Now staff participated in this process, all the directors, I'm sure, participated in this, and
Just to add a little bit on the process, I know Commissioner Flores, you're new to this process, and so this being the first reading, the first budget was filed, it was prepared by Mr. Perez and of course the Finance Director, and it was filed on the website. From there, I know the Finance Director continued working on it, and from the one that's filed there and to this one, there were some changes. Minor housekeeping, which is like on the insurance, they went lower with the new premium. So this being the first reading, there's still a second reading, and that's going to be allowed for any other things that might come up or that Mr. Perez might suggest. So the second reading might have additional changes if necessary. Then he's got the task, him and his staff, to input it into the computer and get ready for the first payroll of the season, of the new year, and actually for all the appeals that are probably waiting to come in on October 1.
Yes.
I don't know.
D-Day, huh?
I don't know, Leonel, if you want to add anything.
Mayor, Commissioners. I guess not to add anything, but just some line items to highlight. As like the mayor said, as the city continues to grow, I do see that the revenues are maintained pretty much the same as they were last year, with the exception of we don't have a sale this year of 375,000 of the land, but our revenues are still maintained at the same level as they were last year. Our property taxes, as you all know, we kept the same tax rate. That still increased our revenues in property taxes by, I believe, 121,000.
And
We are
again, to
project-
reiterate the point, we kept the same tax.
We kept the same
Rate.
tax rate, yeah.
Well, that's a
It's only-
proposed one for the next item.
Yes. And the sales revenue, if they continue to grow, we projected 200,000 more this year from the previous year. So that pretty much filled the gap of the land sale on revenue. So that pretty much kept. As far as expenditures, nothing major changed. Everything's stayed pretty much the same. I guess the only thing that was added there that's major was the St. Ives project that we're gonna have to match that 150,000. But aside from that, everything stays the same. All the departments pretty much stayed within the same budget.
Have we finished any of the big expenses that we've had in the past? Some of the big equipment or trucks, or are we done with some of those payments already or not?
No, we still have some payments. I know, like the water department, they still have one more payment on the water meters. This will be their last year.
Okay.
I know they're looking into buying some more equipment that's needed. Hopefully we can finance it and not get any payments till the following budget year. So that'll give them some room to buy whatever equipment is needed there. I know there's some other departments also that are needing some equipment. I know this coming year is gonna be the last payment on some of those finances, so that'll give us some room for the next following budget.
We're all able to find out the fund balance for the water department. I know there was some concern about some monies that were there or not there, or vice
I
versa.
believe Mr. Cantu was talking about it, and I guess once the audit is finalized, I guess the money that we were discussing, you guys remember? Once the audit will be completed, so we know what happened to that.
Yeah, right now I guess our fund balance is unaudited. As you all know, we're still
Right.
continuing to work on the 2016 audit, so I wouldn't wanna comment any further on that as far as giving any numbers and then having changed at the end of the audit. But I think the numbers that were talked about was that on the sale of the building?
Yes.
Yes. No, all that money was, it's already been sorted. There's no money owed from either from general fund or water department to either fund.
Is this the last year on the incentive for that first investment
Yes.
for the theater?
EDA.
This is the last year, right?
This is the last month.
Yeah, they just issued the
This is
last check.
This is the last,
Payment.
we'll be done with it.
And Leonel, if you don't mind, and it's on a question you had on some of the debt that we had. If you remember, there was some time back that a lot of equipment was financed for the public works.
Right.
And if you go, it's not a page number, but it's behind the debt service. It says summary of general long-term debt
What page
payable.
are you on?
Oh, no tiene
No
page,
page number.
Commissioner.
It's like 7 or 8 pages down, I think.
Yeah, 7 or 8 pages. This is summary of long-term debt payable. It looks like this. In last year's budget, this page was full of payments that we had, and one of the big ticket items was the radios. If you all remember with Motorola, it was $189,000 per year for 3 years, and that's been paid off. And those are the only debts
That's left.
that are left, and you can see by the time frame that we're catching up within the next couple of years. That's
On the,
on the long-term debt,
yeah,
on the general
long-term debt,
fund.
yeah, we're looking good on the long-term debt. We're almost caught up on all of them. Like I said, the water departments, after this year, they're only gonna have an $18,000 payment for one more year, and they'll be done with all their debt. aside from the bonds they have. The general fund, I believe they're done with almost everything. They got 2 more years going on dump trucks that were purchased for, I believe those were for the public works.
So we're actually looking very, very good at this point and just continue paying on these debts and putting us in a good position as we move forward.
Yes.
Right?
I think that's the goal that Mr. Pettit has set for staff, to move forward with the reducing, these liabilities that we have, so we can be ready for your next bond issue, for your big projects, your public safety building,
We have several major projects as we move forward,
Yes, there are,
including the treatment plant. Obviously, that's gonna be a priority.
conference center.
Yeah.
Public service building as well, and several others that we're
the conference center, the water tanks, there's
The
a
water
lot of big
tanks,
ticket items coming up.
infrastructure.
So we should be poised, to
We should
proceed.
be in a good position, getting rid of this debt and moving on those projects. Right?
Without raising taxes, Mayor.
Without raising taxes, all right? So we gotta stress that very, very clearly, but thank you, Mr.
Doing more with less.
Doing, stretching those dollars, yes. No, but again, it's, as we move forward with this, budget, again, just to reiterate the point, this budget will raise more revenue from property taxes than last year's budget by an amount of $121,855, which is a 5.19% increase from last year's budget. The property tax revenue to be raised from new property added to the tax roll this year is $56,977. And to reiterate the point, this is a balanced budget for fiscal year 2018-2019 for Rio Grande City. This time, any other questions, any other comments before we move on well, there's a specific motion, as you all see on the page,
It's in red.
in red, and of course, yeah, we ready for a motion at this time?
If we are, I move that the City Commission adopt and approve the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018 and ending September 30th, 2019 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ramirez.
I second.
We have a second by Commissioner Flores. And at this time, we'll have a record vote.
Mayor Villarreal,
4 in favor.
Mayor Pro Tem Garza,
Aye.
Commissioner Flores,
4.
Commissioner Ramirez,
In favor.
Commissioner Jones,
In favor.
motion passes, Mayor.
Okay, motion passes. Congratulations to the staff. Moving forward, we'll, of course, this is the first reading, and then we'll have our second. Moving on to item 3B, first reading and approval of ordinance number 2018-7, levying ad valorem taxes for maintenance and operations for debt service of the municipal government of the city of Rio Grande City, Texas for tax year ending December 31st, 2018. It's 3B.
Again, Mayor, that's the rate staying the same with a 2.84 increase in tax rates
From the effect.
from the effective.
Okay, and at this time, do you have any other comments? I know we've already discussed this item at length.
You had the public hearing, I think, at the last meeting.
Yes, we had a public hearing last, and at this time, if we're ready, can entertain the motion as per written on the agenda item summary. Do we have a motion?
I move that the property tax rate be increased by adoption of a tax rate of 0.497579, which is effectively a 2.84% increase in the tax rate.
Okay, at this time, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Flores. We have a second by Commissioner Ramirez. This time we'll have a record vote.
Mayor Villarreal,
In favor?
Mayor Pro Tem Garza,
Aye.
Commissioner Flores,
In favor.
Commissioner Ramirez,
In favor.
Commissioner Jones?
In favor.
Motion passes, Mayor.
Thank you. Motion passes. And at this time, we have a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Ramirez, second by Commissioner Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. It is
6:24.
6:24 p.m.